Hi there, this is Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage, and not expecting to be here. Jeff's taking a little nap upstairs, and I figured I could pop on here because the card I was showing in my newsletter last Monday was those were really nice ones. I really like this paper, and the stamp set's not bad either if you don't have Pears already, which I did not. So I mean, I think I do have one set, but not the most recent one, and it was nice. It had some sentiments on there that I wanted as well. But at any rate, I do want to show it to you, and I want to do the fun fold that has the latching cutout because it's super easy to make, and it holds it together really nicely. And that's not true of all the cards that I make that look, have a little pop up or pop out or something. Sometimes they keep popping open. So that's fine if they prop up and people want to save them. But and if you don't want to save them, that's great. Just throw it away. But for people who save them, it would be nice to have it latch. And I get tired of always using a ribbon to do that, or a belly band. So this is one way you can do that without having a belly band or a ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. My mower is going right now, so it's possible that it might sound, you might hear it. Now I've got a couple of dimensions going here that you can read along with me, but this is not the one I'm going to be actually doing because this is with a 12 by 12. So if you don't want two different pieces of cardstock in here, like I'm going to cover it with DSP, so it doesn't really matter. But on the other hand, if you don't want a ridge here and all, and you don't have to do it with a ridge, in fact, I'll figure it out so that we're not. I think I threw away my other, should I throw it away? I did, but it's right here. I'll use that, my scrap paper that I scribbled my notes on, because I'm sure this is a design that is like all over the place. It's not like new or even all unique, but it's something that I just really like. And it's going to be kind of dark here because one of my lamps, the plug and, kind of came undone. So there was some exposed wire and it was kind of shorting in and out. He's blowing now, so he's almost done. Like seriously, he's blowing, and he's doing it in the rain. Good for you, Cameron. You are so good. Anyhow, it's not raining too much yet. He's probably rushing to try to get it done. So these dimensions are if you have 12 and a half, like you would have to have a 14-inch piece, wouldn't you? And that's not going to happen with our cardstock because our largest cardstock is 12 by 12. But if you are finding some stray cardstock that you want to use, and it is a 14-inch by 11-inch piece, you could use it. In which case, it does make it easier. You don't have to have two pieces that you're gluing together. And the dimensions for that are 12 and a half by 5 and a half. And then you score it at 4 1/4, 8 1/2, and 10 1/2. Very basic. You would cut your DSP the same. It's as what we'll be doing with this card anyway. And then this is just instructions on how to proceed. So instead of that, I'm going to be following my little pencil guides, although I might figure this out because this is 5 1/2 by 6. This is the 5 1/2. This is the 6. And I think I might extend it, and it looks like it'll be 8 instead of 6. And then it's just going to add a little bit of weight to the card. So sometimes I don't like to do that. But in this case, I think I just will, to make it easier for you to see what's going on and not to mess up my paper in case it buckles or something, because this is absolutely fabulous paper. Now this is a bundle. It's probably not even available right at the minute. I mean, I would expect that. It seems like by the time my things hit the newsletter, I have created it like several weeks ago, and it's been gone for a while, but it always will come back. I mean, the things I do almost always is going to come back, I think, because I think what I like is pretty common for what everybody likes, and so the chances are so good that you are going to find it. If you just keep going online to find it, you will. All right, I'm trying to get this up high enough that you can see this whole board, I think, pretty well. I'm thinking I've got it all in there. Now, again, it's going to be dark because my light Yeah, I'm really disgusted about that because all I have to do now, I have to find another AC cord to put in. I thought I had one. I think I threw away. I could have probably taped it up, but I was afraid to do anything. I don't want to have a fire start, you know, down here while I'm goofing around. So, upstairs, not thinking. So here's a little card I made using, oh boy, this is a really old set. It has this pie on it, and I really liked it. Sweet Celebrations or something like that, I believe. And I use this black paper here, and I'm going to put this in a newsletter in a few weeks because I did a whole bunch of cute cards with this corrugated. I had a corrugated folder that did embossing, but it was wider and more like, you know, the kind of corrugation you get when you order something in a box and you tear your box apart. There's sometimes the corrugated side because they're, you know, doing cushioning with air that way. It's too wide and too obvious. This actually makes a nice dainty corrugated backing. And I used a few old stamps like our Apple Harvest. I loved that. But it went really well with a pear. Pear pie is pretty good. I like pears. They're really yummy, and so there you go. You could do all kinds of cute pear things. And if you have an old stamp set that has a pun, you know, on the word pear, like P-A-I-R or something like that. Oh, I need to put that away. Doing a little cleaning here while I'm should be busy. So the cardstock color I'm using is going to be Petal Pink and Basic White, and I'm going to use, look at this gorgeous paper. Now, I know some people have bought just the paper. I went ahead and bought the whole suite, and knowing that I was mostly interested in this paper. I knew I could always just buy another pack of paper if I really liked it that much, and I do, but not enough to buy another whole pack. I think I've saved it actually to do this video, because the die in this stamp set will cut out these pears, and you know, I colored my green pears, but I only colored them one time, and I didn't really like what I came up with. They're okay, but I'm still going to end up having to. I wanted some peach in there and color, and I didn't quite get it because I wanted it to match my DSP in that card. Yeah, I really like how they have theirs colored. They're perfect. So anyhow, that's what this paper is. And isn't this wonderful? This is the sheet I'm actually using, I think. I think it might be. I'm not 100% sure, but it's my favorite one. So probably, and I've saved one sheet. So we have one chance at this. Yes, because that's that one. So they're all pretty, but these are my favorites. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one's really good for cutting out that pear. But only one more sheet with this white. I thought there was another white backing. Oh, it's just that one. All right, so this is what we're using, and I'm gonna have to make sure I use it right. I was gonna do a bag or something with it, but I've done a bunch of bags recently, and I have them up there ready to give. And you know, frankly, because we moved away from a lot of people that I used to give stuff to, it is so expensive to send things to people that I don't tend to give a lot of little. They're mostly our neighbors, and I can't overdo it too much, or they'll start, you know, resenting every gift I give them, because people are funny. They don't like to get things without giving things. This has a nice backing too, but I want to use this side. It's too pretty to mess with. So we're going to go ahead and do the cardstock first. So I'm going to cut it 8.5 by 5.5. So here's our 8.5 side. So we're going to go 5.5 here, and then we're going to just keep this sheet, because we'll have 2 5.5 inch pieces, right? Okay, so this is 5.5. This is my 8.5. I'm gonna go ahead and score just one of these at 4 1/4 right now, so that I have that done. So one of these scored at 4 1/4, and you can use your bone folder to burnish that. You're gonna wanna burnish these folds really well. There's a lot of specials going on with Stampin' Up. They have new kits. There's gonna be more kits. If you are already a demonstrator, which you should be if you buy mini stamps, because it's just too expensive to do it otherwise, but you know, oh brother, so there's this little, it's a little overhang right here because my measuring is always somewhat off. Before I do anything with that, what we're gonna do on this side of it is, first of all, I wanna measure, because I suspect this is 6. I suspect I'm gonna need to cut off 1/2 an inch on here. So let me measure this measurement right here. Okay, and we're gonna see, no, it's actually, it's pretty good. So it's 8 1/8. 8 1/8. Oh, that is so funky. I'm not doing that. I'm telling you, 8 1/8. We're gonna not do the 8 1/8. We're gonna scooch it here a little bit and skip the 1/8. We're just not putting it all the way to the fold because it's gonna have to fold over anyway. So you wanna lose that 1/8. So we're gonna take this, since this should be 8 1/2 this way, I am going to measure it. We're gonna cut it at 8 inches. Okay, so there's 8 inches. And I think before I cut it, just to make sure I don't screw it up, this is gonna be the edge that's gonna fold. So I'm gonna just do up my fold lines right now with the amount I want, because what you want to end up with here is a piece that locks, but that's far enough in that your piece can actually fit on there and lock. Right now my fold's kind of on the short side, but this is a really big die cut. I won't be using a die cut as big as this because I want to show all of that wonderful DSP. That's why I'm making this card, because there's all these surfaces to put DSP on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna score it at 2 inches right here, and then we're gonna score it at 4 inches. And that's 1, 2, that is your Z fold. Then we're gonna take my card here because I wanna see how much of my edge I wanna end up cutting off. So we're gonna do a little Z fold right there. Check and see where your edge is. Like this is perfectly here, but if it wasn't, then I would want, if it was like sticking out for some reason a little long, I could fold it the other direction like this if I was unhappy with that fold. Like you can see, this one's a little shorter than this direction. So find the direction that's best. When you're doing fancy folds, always think about that, because sometimes people get dimensions, they think they're getting dimensions wrong when they're really not getting dimensions wrong at all. They just aren't turning it over and trying it on the other side. Do that before you do anything else. Now I'm gonna tuck this in because this is gonna glue here, and I wanna see how much I need to remove, because I want to have this exactly right on here. It's gonna pull out, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and just mark this with my scissors. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I could use my scissors, sure, instead of a pencil mark. I'm gonna use my scissors. Here's my fold. I don't really need it to be right on the fold. I need it to be over a bit. I'm gonna move it over quite a bit, just because my DSP is gonna be covering here, and I don't want it. It can be a little crooked, because it's going to be all covered. I don't really want that piece to be showing. I want my DSP to come all the way here, and it'll cover where that little seam is. Now I have where I want to cut it. And I'm gonna move it over so both of those cuts are being cut off that I just snipped. And now we're ready to just glue this right in. Just make sure when you glue it in, this is gonna be a little bit short, so you do end up having your, but your DSP is gonna be like right there, okay? All right, so we're gonna glue, oh my glue, I forgot. I needed to actually, I'm gonna have to cheat glue over here on the side because I forgot that glue is almost out and I have more glue, but I just forgot. I wasn't really intending to do a video today. When Jeff said he was gonna take a nap, I said, oh, okay. Then I think I'm gonna go ahead and just do the video that I wanted to do this week. I don't think this one's gonna take very long, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do that while you're taking a nap. So I shut the door that comes down to our downstairs, and he knows to stay out until I'm done. And it was good timing because our mower, Cameron, was, I knew, finished almost. And the sun is out now, so I know he has another job right on our street. So that's good for him. Okay, so now you have your Z-fold. Don't do any cutting out until after you have got your DSP all glued on. You just definitely want to have that glued on. I've done it before, forgetting that I wanted to have it glued on, and very much regretted it because it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And what in the world is going on over here? Hold on a second, having a little bit of trouble. There we are. Okay, finally. Oh, not that. Okay, there we go. Now I'm golden. All right. So it is toasty outside. I went out early and managed to get all of my roses, all the, ones that had faded and were past, get all those buds off because, man, they have set up some really nice buds and I wanted to get all that. Okay, now for our DSP. We're gonna cut 3 pieces at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then we're gonna do 2 at 2 inches. Actually, it's gonna be less than 2 inches because this is 2 inches. So why did I write 2 inches? Because I just wasn't thinking. So it's not going to be 2 inches. It's going to be, now this is 4 1/4, so I know my 4 inch is fine, and my 5 1/4 is fine, but this is going to have to be 1 3/4. It's possible I originally had a larger card going here. It's very possible with this 12 1/2 by 5 1/2. All right, so 1 3/4. Boy, I can't even really read that now. I hate it when I do this because it makes sense to me right now. But later, when I go to read this again, I'm going to be completely lost. 2 of those. Okay, bye. We're going to scratch that out. 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. My goodness, I'm so sloppy. Okay, so I don't need this extra piece. I was thinking I might, but I don't. So since we're gonna go 4 inches, that makes it much easier to use this piece because you know that this is 12, so that means I can get 3 fronts on here. Now I do know that on this very front, I want this corner, and this corner I want inside. So let's make sure we get the same on both sides. So we're gonna go 4 inches right here. Okay, if you're nervous about it, do it a little bit bigger. I wanted enough of a border, but here's the other thing I kind of forgot about. Since we're gonna have a border and I'm gonna have a die cut, my die cut's got to be big enough to be able to show, small enough to be able to show the edge. So actually, I think with this one, this front one, I'm gonna go 4 1/8, just to be on the safe side, okay? So we've got 4 1/8 and then 5 1/4. But we're gonna put in that 1/8 since I did an 1/8 on that other one. Oh, can I do that? Yes, I can, because this is 12, remember, so I can get 2 of these. I do really kind of want that pear on the top to show. So what I'm gonna do is do a little bit of trimming on the bottom here. Just a tiny bit. I'm gonna do an 1/8 inch trim. And then we're going to do 5, and instead of 5 1/4 like I have it, we're going to go 5 2/3. Is that right? No, it wouldn't be 2/3, would it? It does trim my pear a little bit, but I do get some of it on here because this is my front piece. And now you can see how it's going to look. Okay, and there's plenty of border on here, and there's still plenty of room for my die cut. I wanted the die cut to be right here. All right, so on the inside, we're going to go back to our regular measurements because this one would actually probably be okay. Let's do that. Let's do this one is going to go here. And that pear is actually fitting in really nicely in the card where I want it. So we're going to just cut this one at, I'm going to cut this top off at, again, not 5 1/2, but 1, 2, this is 3/8. 3/8. And that's going to cover up our interior like that. And this one's going like this. You can do another one if you want to. I'm not going to have enough to really do that with because I want to use this. But if you don't want to use these edges, see, I'm going to use this and this. I'm going to use a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so let's just see what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it because I know I'm going to want to have as much of this as I can get. So we're going to go ahead and do 4 and just 4 inches this time, not the 8s, because I don't think I want. Let's see where 1 3/4 is. 1 3/4 is here. See, that's going to cut way too much off, and I don't necessarily want to have it like that. I do want some white on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 4. And so that I'm not wasting my paper as much. And I might save this for another card. We're going to put that here. And now for this one, we're going to go 1 3/4. Okay, kind of looking to see where the pear is fitting. If I flip it, is it any different? 1 3/4? Not really. And because this is actually 4 inches, I can cut it in a 2-inch increment and then trim the sides. So I'm going to do that. We're going to go at 2 inches. I'm going to cut the whole thing at 2 inches because I've already got big pieces and I'm not going to do this side. I am not going to do this side. Am I? Actually, I had marked I was doing 3 of these. Okay, so we're going to use one of those. Now, I think what we're going to end up doing, we're going to do that. We're going to use one of these. So let's go ahead and do a 5 1/4. We're going to have to go, not since I have the other one at 5 3/8, I'm going to have to go with this one at 5 3/8 as well. So 5 3/8. This one is going to go here like this. Okay, that's going to go like this. And then I can use this for these sections. Actually kind of want it, this is going to fit over like this, but it's going to tuck under so you don't have to match up that DSP, but it is going to have to match up somewhat with this piece. So I do really like how this fits together like this, so I don't really want to separate that. It's possible that I might decide to just use this and this. There's going to be a label here, so I'm going to use this piece on the front. All right, so we're going to go 1 3/4, and I'm going to, should I give that 8s? I don't think I need to. We're going to go 1 3/4. That will leave this whole pear section really nicely. And let's check it and see if I like the borders. Yes, that's perfect. 1 3/4. And then we want this to be 5 3/8. Okay. All right, so now we're almost ready to assemble and cut, and we'll be almost done. This is going to be on the front, under. Okay. Actually, I think we'll just do the same one here. Maybe we'll do this one here. I think it might actually work better if I just do this, because then these two will fit together like this. So I'll trim this side. We're gonna do this one at 1 3/4. Did I say 3/4? Yes, 1 3/4. And then 5 3/8. Okay, now we're ready to glue. Oh my, I forgot to put my paper down, which is just a nicer background, although today maybe the glare is not bad. I don't know. Sometimes that seems to be the case. All right, so we're gonna put that there and that there, and now we're gonna just do the gluing. So I'm gonna put this one on the front. And again, because of my glue situation here, I am just gonna be gluing on the side over here, and you can just amuse yourself thinking about some of the new things that'll be coming up, because we've got a new mini catalog that'll be coming out in September, actually, for you if you're not a demonstrator. If you are a demonstrator, it will be in August, and I'm really excited about it because it's going to be the holiday one, and I love that. The holiday one is the best. So this one's going to be here. This one's going to be here. Okay, I'm going to turn that like right there. So that way you do end up with I wanted enough petal pink kind of showing in between the panels. You don't want them butting right up. For one thing, it won't fold nicely if you've got your DSP fold, you know, right up against that fold. It just won't lay nice. It'll buckle and be kind of funky. But you do need to have this, and it needs to be the same length. It doesn't have to be the same width, but it does need to be the same length. All right, so there's that one. And then I'll glue this one, and we're gonna be almost done. This is just a super fun one because I'm not even coloring my pears or doing anything with the pears today. I'm just using the paper. And then I think I might use one of my Spanish stamps for my sentiment, because did you know we have some Spanish stamps? You might not, because they're kind of hard to find. I don't even know if they were in the catalog. I don't really remember if they were even in the catalog, which is kind of sad that I don't know that. But I don't think they're being marketed all that thoroughly, if you want to say it like that. Maybe they don't have to be, because as soon as they release them, they're sold out, and then they do get more, so it's not like they're gone, but you know. Now let's see, this one, which one? No, that one. That one's the one that's going to get cut. This one we're going to just layer on top of, so it doesn't really matter what I'm doing. You need your glue. If you're using a repositionable glue, like I kind of am right now, just because my Tombow is out of order, I need to get a new one up here on my desk. It will shift when you use your die cut on this, so unless it's really, really good and set. So hopefully that'll be good and set by the time I get to it, because I should have used the Tombow over there. I would have had enough to do that easily, I'm sure. I get tired of, my hand gets tired of me having to shake it down when it gets down to the end, you know. All right, let me grab a scrap here. Get rid of my excess. All right, so there we go. Sweet. I've got like a lot of excess glue going there. All right, there we go. Now on my website, things are on. It's just very limited. So give it a try, but I cannot keep everything on there, and I've kind of let that be lesser rather than more. And I'm trying to think what kind of I'd use just a regular square, or actually it wasn't a square, it was a, I really like an oval for this kind of an opening, but it needs to be something you can latch pretty well. So, I don't know, it doesn't really matter what you use, it just, I think the simpler ones are gonna make it easier. So this is gonna go under like this, and my latching tool, my latch is gonna have to be there. Now I'm not putting any on there, it's just like that. And I've got all of my dies that are my more medium size. These are all old ones actually, because I'm thinking if I'm gonna use, I got my Quiet Meadow if I wanted to use this one, Heartfelt Love and Caring Thoughts. But here's my Spanish one. It is the right words. And I have all the translations on here. Here's one that is Celebrando algún especial. That one's pretty small. It would fit with this really well, but it's pretty long. Let me see. This one, that one's nice. I think that would be nice. If I do it like this, then I could actually stick a little pear or something on there. Let me see if I've got, I think on my card I used a better vertical stamp, but I couldn't quickly find one. I thought I had all my vertical stamps pretty close to me right here. And then when I started looking to see what I was going to use with this, I think I realized early on I might not have time to get to this card experience. One of the ones that would work really well would be this Last a Lifetime set. This is a new one. Well, last year's, but I mean, it's still available, I believe. Hoping You Experience Love and Joy, you could just use that. And then there's the Today, Tomorrow, and Always on it as well. If you don't want it to be a wedding one, though, you could just use that. And see, it's a little too wide for me. Today, I'm trying to go more narrow than big. So I think I've talked myself into it. We're going to just use, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. And I'm going to use the one I had out. I must have put it back. There it is, right here. It is a bit on the long side. I do have a smaller set, I bet, over here. Let's see. Smaller, smaller, smaller. You're too small. Okay, we're going to go with it. We've got our... this set's really nice. This one is Textured Notes. That one was temporarily unavailable, but I believe it's back, and that one is my go-to these days. It actually is coming out, I think, of the piece. Is a little bit better than my old rectangle stamp set. It, or die cuts. The rectangle dies, you know, I really like those, but sometimes those can be a real bugger to get out. Now you're gonna have to place this here. You're going to run your card this way. You want this to just cut. It can cut anywhere here. Just now that I've got my DSP in, I can see exactly where I want to put it. I can put it down here, you know, I can center it wherever I want. If you cut your DSP separate, then that's making it real tough to get the DSP on with even edges. Really tough. I've done it, so don't do it that way if you can help it. All right, now we're gonna hope that that die doesn't shift. I am gonna run it through a couple of times because that's a pretty thick layer. Okay. And I'm gonna have to run it through again. I can feel it didn't quite go. So I'm gonna go again. Let me turn my board. Maybe that'll help it cut a bit more this time. Let's do it one more time. And we'll see if it cut through this time. Still it didn't quite. It's right there though, right there. There we go. Okay, so now it has made it through. I'm saving this because I can actually use it. This is what I'm going to stamp on. And I'm going to put dimensionals on it, and it's going to pop right up here and latch, okay? So this, again, very simple card to make. So I'm going to put this die away. Make sure that when you watch the video, if you could like it and share it, pass it on around. I appreciate it. If you want to send my emails to anybody, I'd be happy to have you do that too. All right, very nice. I think I ended up with just a tiny bit of a smudge right there and there for my cutting plate probably. All right, that's much better. And we do have on Perfectly Pears, A Good Friend as a Gift. I really like that. All of those actually are very simple, perfect for almost anything, but I wanted to do something fun with this, not just simple. So we're gonna do this one. Celebrating someone special is what my Google translation was on this one. And I certainly hope it is correct, and if it isn't, please notify me. Now I'm gonna put this here so I can see that my words are nice and squared off. Since this is a cling stamp, oops, I need it to be like this. Since this is a cling stamp, I need this to be very squared. I don't want it to be all messed up. And my color, oh my, I forget what color I chose, but I bet it was the green. My Old Olive, I'm gonna go with Old Olive. If I can find you pretty quickly, there you are. I think my Old Olive is like super juicy. The last time I used it, it was like way too much. So let me find a scrap here that I can stamp on to see how that's gonna appear. It's not bad, it's a little bit on the strong side. Okay, we're gonna go with it anyway, because I don't want it to be too pale. All right, we're gonna put this kind of like at the top. So I think we're gonna go ahead and let me see if it's squared up. I think it looks pretty squared up. It was a little crooked, but we're gonna live with it. This is the trouble with those cling stamps. Sometimes they're not perfect. My eyes, the way I position things aren't perfect. Now you end up with this left over. Don't mess it up or lose it. You'll want to be using that again later. It's very pretty. All right, celebrating someone special. That's gonna be good. I'm gonna have to put the translation on the back of my card so I remember that's what it is, because I don't really speak Spanish. All right, so we've got that, and we're gonna just place it right here. I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the back, and we're gonna double that up. I'm down to the margins on my little dimensional pack. We'll put this here. If you are looking for a catalog and you want one, go ahead and give me a message and I'll tell you how you can get one. If you go online to Stampin' Up, you can see everything that they have, and you really don't need to even have a catalog, but some of us really like to look at a catalog. I know I do. I do browse online some, but actually not very much. Okay, so I'm putting a double layer of dimensional on here just to get it raised up plenty. Okay, this is a nice use of these border pieces. I can get a nice strip going there. And you know, you want to make sure you've got enough that it's going to adhere really well. All right, then just stick it right there in the opening. And there you go. It is latched. Very latched, in fact. Isn't that nice? And then it opens easily as well. And it looks nice. Isn't that nice? All right, now we can just do the fussy parts. I do have some ribbon, and it is this nice ribbon that came with this set. This is Mossy Meadow, but so it's the darker version. It's gold, though. Isn't it pretty? very pretty. So you could put a little bow on there. That would be nice. I probably will prefer to put some kind of a dimensional, because we're not a dimensional, but you know, what do we call it? An embellishment. There you go. An embellishment. That'll be nice. I'm just trying to clean up my scraps. What a big mess I always make on everything. I don't have many of these left. Yay, I hate it when I'm down to the very end. Like, I don't want you anymore, but I'm too cheap to just throw you away, but it's too hard to use that edge for most things. Not everything, but most things. All right, so we've got faceted gems. We've got rhinestones. Let's just have a little look here and see what we've got. This is not quite the right shade of green. Ah, that's nice. It's very bright. I don't really necessarily want that. That almost looks like Parakeet Party. That is not the right green. I end up a lot of times getting old things out because I'm fussy. Oh, here's one. I really do like these. These are shades of green hexagons. I do really like this. Another one that's really good is this this is a holographic resin dots, and it pretty much takes the color of anything that you are using. So it's a good, but it is holographic. Look at it. It's really cool. I do really like this, but we're gonna go ahead and use these hexagons. I think that's gonna be nice. All right. This is an unused sheet. I thought I'd opened these already. Let's see if I can find ones that I've done, because I'm pretty sure I have. People on my team, I hope you didn't get a used pack of hexagon, because I'm kind of wondering what happened to the one I'd opened. I'm pretty sure I had one open. And that would be so embarrassing. Oh, I certainly hope I didn't do that. You never know. Oh, I hope I did it. I think maybe I was going to use these and I ended up not doing it. Let me grab my tweezers. Let's see which size we want. Darker or lighter? Smaller or bigger? I don't know. This actually is really nice to put. You know, you could cut out one of the pears, but the problem is it's going to hang off. And then if you do that, it's going to be way too hard to, to close. So we're going to put one there. We're just going to use these really big ones. One there, one there. Now, because these are hexagon, they kind of have to go straight on here. Much different than our circle ones. Okay, don't get difficult. All right, right there. There you are. Ah, nice. Pretty close. Pretty close. Those are pretty. I like those. Those are very, very nice. Now, if you're feeling really blingy, we could even add a couple more up here. One and two. This is, oops, I lost that one. That one probably went on the floor. I'll step on it and it'll be on my foot for a while. Okay, because it's always on when I step on them, they're always on my sock and I don't really notice it, and I kind of wonder, or it might even be on the top, and they work their way into strange places. That's it. We are all done. I do really like that. It's pretty. I think with my other card, I didn't do this. I had a bigger sentiment and I put those blingy things up here, which was really nice too. But you know what? I think you got the idea. I hope you enjoyed that. And you got a great idea for a nice new card to make for your friends or your family. Have a wonderful week. I will see you. I don't think, I'm not going to see you for 2 more weeks probably, but I'll be back with something eventually. Thank you very much. Bye.